So after about a week-long break, I'm finally back to making videos, and I decided if I were going to take a break and figure out what I wanted to do, now was the perfect time before I really get the hang of this, before I really figure out the ropes, and before any sort of audience starts growing on the channel. And the reason I took that break was because I realized that the videos I was putting out didn't really have any structure to them. They were sort of just on a whim videos that I wanted to put out and just speak my mind. But I realized that really doesn't work well with the system or whatever, and I needed to have some sort of structure to the channel. So I stepped back for a bit and tried to think long and hard about what kind of series, what kind of structure I could build for this channel that I could keep pumping content into for a long time and continue to build on. At the moment, I have a few more series that are sort of in the works that I plan to do once I get around to figuring out the logistics of them and how I'm gonna find the time to edit them down and put them out and whatever, because I was really surprised with just how long it actually takes to edit even a simple video. And truth be told, the audio recording, the part I'm doing right now, is definitely the worst. I know that the videos I put out don't have the best audio right now, but oh man, you should hear the audio before it gets edited. So more to the point, the first series that I want to put out, the series that this video is going to be in, is actually something I thought would be a fun idea. I haven't necessarily seen a lot of people do it. So what I'm thinking about is not necessarily reviews, because I'm no game expert. I don't know about game design or anything like that. But maybe take a quick look at all the games that the Epic Games launcher puts out every week for free and just decide on whether they're worth playing or not. I mean, they're definitely worth picking up, obviously, because they're free, you're not paying for it. But yeah, seeing if they're worth putting your time into playing and seeing how much enjoyment we're going to get from them. So just some quick background in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Every week or so, the Epic Games launcher on Windows, and I'd assume Mac as well, releases a few free titles in their store. Generally speaking, the titles are a few years old, but I have seen multiple times that they've released newer games. When their store first launched, actually, they launched with Subnautica, which was a really new game at the time. And since then, they have occasionally done new releases. So it's a bit of a mixed bag with what you're going to get. Generally, I've found, though, that all the content is pretty good. They're not just dumping free games that have little to no effort in them. And just a heads up for anyone who doesn't know, but maybe is going to get into the free games through this series, you do, as of just a few days ago, require Epic Games 2-factor authentication in order to get the free games. I'm not entirely sure why they made that change, because it seems like it's been fine so far, and the free games has been going on for well over a year, so it was a choice that Epic made, and it's not that big of a deal, but just something you should know. So as I'm sure you've seen from the title, today I'm going to be playing a game called Crashlands. This, along with Amnesia: The Dark Descent, are the two games that Epic released this week. And just so everyone knows, I am going into this game completely blind. I've never seen anything about it prior to its release on the Epic Store. And just some quick background about the game. It was actually initially released, I believe, on Steam in January of 2016 by the developers Butterscotch Shenanigans, who I, again, had never really heard about. But they have put out a few other small indie titles, and I plan to check them out afterwards, so I'll let everyone know what I think about their whole library in total. So right off the bat, after completing the quick intro the game has, I do immediately get hit with some Don't Starve vibes. And I mean, they are obviously the same survival RPG genre, and I'm not going to compare the games too much, because other than that baseline, it does seem like Crashlands is substantially different from Don't Starve, especially with the art style. I really do enjoy the art style for this game, as well as the music. I'm probably not going to put the music in the video, just in case, you know how music and stuff goes over. But yeah, I definitely would say maybe even load up the game for 10-15 minutes just to enjoy the art style and the music. And so I played through about an hour total, I would say, and by the end of it, I still felt like the controls were a bit unintuitive. I mean, it's not horrible or anything. It is a combination of like point and click with your mouse to move as well as WASD. So it was a bit weird and a bit janky, but nothing I don't think you could get used to with enough time. The combat is also pretty unusual. I mean, for all I know, I could have just been playing absolutely horribly, but for me, I used a lot of hit and run tactics with even the weakest bosses, and I found myself getting hit a lot, and I feel like if I continued playing for any longer, I would have ended up dying quite a bit. So one thing I loved was the game's UI. It seemed very user-friendly and streamlined. I loved the inventory, the quest logs, all of that. It just made me feel like I could focus less on that and more on the actual game. Another thing is that I feel like this game does a really good job with its humor. It's not necessarily shoved down your throat like I notice a lot of games that try and be funny have their comedy sort of right up in your face. But with this one, it's sort of like, if you read the dialogue, you actually pay attention, you do get some laughs and whatever. You have to take your time with this game and really go into it with the mindset of enjoying the experience for the sum of its parts rather than the whole. I'd say it's definitely worth picking up from the store and putting a few hours into if you have some free time, like I'm assuming a ton of people have right now. Obviously, you're running out of new games to play at this point. Game companies can only produce games so quickly. So maybe hit the backlog and take a look at a game like this. But anyways, like I said, this isn't a game review or anything. I personally have no idea what I'm talking about. This is just my levels of enjoyment I got from the game. And wanted to let everyone know that going forward with this series. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with like a commentary overlay on some background gameplay or if I'm actually going to do like live audio while I'm playing the game. For me personally, that seems easier, but at the same time, I can't necessarily get all my thoughts together and out properly. I haven't really practiced that so well yet. So let me know what you guys think. In the next few days, I'm probably going to try and have the Amnesia video out. And looking ahead on the Epic Games store, the next game that they're planning on releasing is called Death Coming. It's something I've never even heard of, and I'm going to try and stay blind to it until the game is released. So I'll let you all know about that soon. And if you have found this video by now, I would recommend becoming a subscriber, because you see on YouTube, everyone wants to be the guy who goes into the comments and said, hey, I've been with you since 10, 30, 50 subs. Now's your chance to get in on that, because I'm going to hit it big, I promise you. 2 years from now, when I'm pumping out Raid Shadow Legends sponsors, you're going to want to be the guy who's like, man, JDR, you sure have fallen from grace. You sure are terrible now. Get good. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're a sellout. Everyone hates you. So please be that person. Please subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.